Hey guys, welcome to my new video. I just want to show you something about my engine and how I got this engine. Um, First of all, and I want to get something. Some people say, "Oh, why did you paint it pink?" It's not pink. I mean, it does look it when I see it on the camera here on my phone. It does look bright, but it's because of the light. Somehow it changes it. But if I go close here and show you. Let's see, like right here, it's red. That's what it actually looks like. So I got this paint here at AutoZone, and it was Predator was the brand, and it looked like a really good high quality automotive paint. And I didn't want to use Chevy Orange because I do like it, but it's a pretty bright orange, and I've had orange like my Chrysler Hemi orange on my 440. When they start getting dusty and some age, the orange kind of can get dirty. But I don't know, it's opinion. But I like red and I like the orange, but I wanted to have like a kind of a blend in between, so I got something that was kind of a bright red, almost oranges. So yeah, this here is try to get you so you can see, but it's there you go. That's kind of really nice color. But so anyway, I want to show you something about engines. If you look in like Marketplace on Facebook and other places, maybe Craigslist or wherever, and you see like 454 engines or other big blocks, and they want anywhere from starting $500. Just depends. But now I found this engine at a place here. Um, there's a couple in the Twin Cities. One's in like Rosemount, and then one's up in East Bethel, I believe, where I got this. And the place is called You Pull Our Parts. So I went there with a friend of mine, and he wanted to go there, and I wanted to go and see if there was some extra spare good tires on a F-150, so I could have something for my truck because mine were getting older. And so I didn't find nothing, but I was looking around, and I went off back yonder, and there was a Chevy pickup way in the back corner by a fence. So the hood was like slightly open like that, and I walk by, and I see my eye caught these valve covers, the big fat valve covers, and so I opened the hood and I'm like, oh, what do we got here, So it had the heads in there. I got the heads and everything. This is all clean and stuff, but there was no carburetor on it, but it did have the air cleaner on, and it had like a black mark and it said 454. But I actually went back another time, and then I went to look up all the numbers on the engine block in the back and everywhere else on it to see, but it shows 1978. So the truck was in 1989, and I did go back and pulled it myself. I contemplated for a little more than 2 weeks, and they asked for an engine, $235, I believe, and then like $30 came to tax them. But I paid $270 for this. So I went back there myself because the day I decided I better go get it before somebody else does, my friend, he had to go do something else, so it's kind of my fault. But I thought, if I don't get this engine for that price, somebody else is going to get it, at least because I always wanted the big block Chevy. I've had friends that built them and rode in their cars, and they're like neck snappers, Even the street style one is they're really nice engines. So when I went there and I pulled this, it had no exhaust manifolds on it. There's no exhaust manifolds. All I had to do was pull up the water pump, power steering, a couple little brackets, the two motor mount bolts on each side of the frame, and then I had to snip the oil. It had the plastic oil sender thing, so I had to snip that. And then I had to get underneath and take my 916 or whatever wrench and undo the four converter bolts on the flex plate flywheel, and also then the bolts on the transmission bolting up to the engine block. And then they have this big A-frames on wheels with chain hoists. So I had to bring it over and hoist it out, and it was, I had to do some pushing. I'm an older guy, but I had to do some pushing all the way back up to my truck and stuff. But $270 for this engine. So when I got this back home and I brought it to my friend's house and took it apart, and he helped me, here what we have is an already 30 over 454, and it turned over very easy. Took it apart, everything was clean like this. I mean, not exactly like this. It was a running engine, but we were surprised how clean, and the combustion chambers and everything, just like this was a 30 over rebuilt engine, super clean. And the crankshaft, yeah, I got that there. The crankshaft, it's been rebalanced, the whole assembly, and they had all the markings on there and the chamferings and everything. So I took it all apart. I'm going to do a performance street rebuild, and I'm not going to use I'm not going to use the oil pan, or I'm going to get a new intake, Performer RPM, or else the Wyand Street Warrior intake. And then my heads, I'm going to do another video on these, because I want to go over some stuff separately. But let's see here. But the heads were immaculate. I did take the valves out, and I did some porting. I did a bowl blend and took out the flash underneath the valves. Super clean and nice, and I will show you that on the next video. I'll go over these, but I'll be replacing these with a from Competition Products. It's called a head upgrade kit, and they're only like $200 and something, but you get all new stainless valves. You get the double springs and the retainers and the locks and molle retainers and everything. And that's a hell of a deal. So if you're going to, because I'm putting a Howard's Rattler, Big Mama Rattler in this engine. It'll be just perfect. It's not too much of a cam. It's not too much. So this is a 461 cubic inch now. After it was bored 30 over. But so 461, and I'm going to be using, now I have this here I bought, a guy $20 locally on a Marketplace. Very nice with the seal. And I got a new oil adapter, so I got that bolted in there. And I always replace with these petcock valves, because they're easier to drain and they're really snug. I mean, you can do them like that and they're not going to loosen on their own, but if you have to do something when it's in the vehicle, you just do that, and you have like a cardboard or something underneath it. But usually they strain like this into a bucket, and it drains the head and the block, and you don't make a mess. It's just cleaner. And I will be using the Maraso gold iridized pan, and it's kind of got that flat part. It's got more capacity, I think. I'm not sure, but it's for clearance and stuff. But yeah, I always upgrade the oil pans. I would never use one of them factory ones. They look ugly anyway. And then I did the same thing with this side, and I will be putting some new plugs in. And so when I got this and took it all apart, the cam bearings are all brand new still. I soaped it really good, pressure washed it, scrubbed it with all the brushes and everything. I've tapped every hole in this thing, all the oil passages went through, and re-scrubbed it with the brushes with heavy soap detergent. And after I scrubbed it again, then I did it twice, really good, the whole block, and brushing and everything to get any little possible pieces of trace of mineral or soot that could be in the passage or anything. So nice and clean. And then after that, when it was dry, we dried it off with a blow dryer, big industrial blow dryer thing. Got everything in the pressure with the air and the passages and everything. And so before I painted it, I did put primer underneath. And I took a torch, and then when you heat the blocks, kind of like Uncle Tony shows in one of his videos, and you can see the moisture will dissipate. So I did that all before I primed it, let that dry, and then I used I believe 2 cans worth of coats, and that's what I got on this engine block here. So now I want to show you something else. These pistons that came out of here, they I'll show you. I went to clean these, and when I made up a solution, now I did it with my 440 before, and I just used solvent, in the bucket, and I should have used them, but I'm not in the shop anymore, so I had to make up like this container here. I filled it with like half water and halfway full of Simple Green. I let them soak overnight, but when I came the next day, it was like these pistons where they had like etching or something. See, they kind of had etching or something on the whole piston. I was like, what the hell? And so I did take and I cleaned them up, and I used Scotch Pad, because I thought, but then I thought, there's no way in heck I'm going to use these. And these pistons, they fit in, they're fine, but they're slight rocking. There's slight rocking, but I thought, you know what, I'm not going to use them. Put those back in there. And here's the one that is one that I actually had sitting out, and I forgot, because I had it sitting out, so this one didn't get cleaned when I had them soak. I just cleaned it on its own. So you can see there's no etch and stuff, but there's no way I was going to use them. So I decided to order some new replacement pistons, the same kind. So I got new ones. And I'll tell you, I did, for $160, I did the right thing, because it's really weird when I put this piston in there, when I had them on the rods before I swapped them out. These pistons would fit in there pretty good, but there was like a just slight rocking. And when I take my caliper and I measure at the skirt and the top and the skirt, they both measure the same. They both measure the same from this worn piston. It's not like really too worn, just a little on that there. My friend said, oh, I would just use them. I'm like, hell no, not for that. For $160, I'm getting new pistons. So when I got these new ones, and then I put them in there, when I put the new ones in the block and I fit them in, they fit perfect, and there's no rocking. And it has the proper clearance, side clearance and everything. So there's no rocking. So what it is there's still wear on them old pistons, overall. So when I took a 3-hone on the very minimum setting, because the store didn't have a ball hone, but so I just did it a few times on each cylinder, and I used like WD-40 or some other oil in the spray can when I was doing it, just a few times, just to kind of clean up the cylinder bores. And then when I put these new pistons in, they're all squared. They're all trued and squared because they've never been used. So when I put them in, there's no rocking, and they fit absolutely perfect. So you're restoring horsepower like that. There's no way for $160 I'm going to use new pistons. It was easy. So I like to know what I have in my engines. And so that's that part. And so let's see, is there anything else I wanted to share with you guys? So I'm gonna do my next video. I will show you about these heads, and I'll share a lot of stuff. So you can find good deals out there, and I'm glad I got this. I took it apart. We were just floored. We were like, wow, man, I got a running engine. The bearings in here were like brand new still, but obviously I'm replacing them anyway, because stuff like that is so cheap. I'm going to use a double chain and stuff, a really good one. I think the Roll Masters are like one of the best double chains, where have shown to have the least amount of stretch after miles. So I'm not sure, but yeah. And so anyway, it's fun to do engine builds and know what you have in your own engine. And I will be using, I will not be using the stock rods. These are all cleaned up. I will not be using the stock ones. I will be using them aftermarket thicker, the big thick ones with the swedged ends. And because I will be having double springs on here and stuff. So, you know, when you're upgrading for performance, you have to make sure that you change your valve train. I will have the full rockers on the tip and the fulcrum on here. Not the really expensive ones, but the really nice stainless ones. They're like the ones from Comp Cams. Elgin makes them too, like that. They might not be made in America. I'm not sure, but I have to do more investigating. But so it's just knowing what you have in your engine. So I don't like other people touching my stuff. I've built a few engines myself, so I have experience. And all right, guys. So just search around when you're in salvage yards, and you never know what you'll run into. So for $270, I had a running engine here. You know, and it was already pretty clean when I pulled it stuff. I just had to do a little surface cleaning and hot pressure washing, and it's like a beautiful, yep, it's going to be a nice motor when it's done. So, thanks for watching my video, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.